Hi, my name is Hajimichael, and today I'm going to talk to you about the revolution in digital media. The digital revolution is an ongoing process of change brought about by digital technology, which has had a big impact on media production and consumption, particularly over the last 20 years. But this is something that started to happen from as far back as 50 years ago, particularly in the area of music production. Digitization is the process of converting text, numbers, sounds, photos, videos into data that can be processed by digital devices. We can definitely see a big change in the last 20, 30 years between production with sound-based media. If you look at these two pictures, for example, this is what a radio studio looked like in 1978. And this is what a radio studio looks like now, with a presenter working digitally out of the box, out of the screen. And some stations would probably even have touch screens rather than a mixing desk in front of them. That revolution has also had a big impact on audiences, the way people listen, the way people see, the way people read things. Again, in the area of sound, these revolutions have been happening for a very long time, from the creation of the very primitive phonograph, which became the first record player, and then from this mechanical, largely mechanical contraption, we see record players becoming more hi-fi based in the 1960s and 70s. Then the next big change is record players and cassettes came along, and record players, music appliances became more portable and more atomized, more individual based, particularly with the Sony Walkman. And then this, in a more contemporary way, we do everything now from our mobile phone. The MP3 player radically altered the way we engage with radio, with music, with video, everything really. And these digital innovations have had an impact in so many aspects of our lives. The way we store data, robotics, drones, sensors, cloud computing, digital communications, speech recognition, new materials, machine translation, cognitive computing, virtual reality, Web 2 being the platform that brings all this together, processing power, the power of CPU and computing, energy storage, network capacity, biotechnologies, mobile devices, 3D printers, and so on. There's so many different aspects to these innovations. In terms of media, the statistics for digital media around the world indicate that there are 7.713 billion people in the world, 55% of whom live in urbanized settings. And of these people, just over 5 billion, roughly 66%, are unique mobile users. 4.33 billion are internet users, which is over half of the population of the world. And 3.534 billion are active social media users, people that are online and using media online represent 46% of the world's population, which is far bigger than how many people, say, watch television or listen to radio on standalone sets. And of that population, 3.46 billion are mobile social media users. So the amount of people that are doing their social media engagement from their phones is quite significant. These changes have obviously meant radical developments in the kind of media we consume. Here I want to refer specifically to the United States and the impact this has had on traditional media. 48% of people in August 2016 were AM/FM users, without referring to the internet, of course. 52% people using the traditional medium of television. 71% had TV connected devices with DVD, video game, multimedia devices. 76% internet on a PC, in-home usage. 83% smartphone video, looking at videos on their mobiles. And 87% were streaming on their PCs, or on their computers, in-home uses. And streaming has become the major way in which we engage with things. We engage with video content, we engage with sound content, and this has now become overtaken so many traditional forms of media. And of course, these social media platforms are different in popularity in terms of millions of people around the world. Recent statistics for January 2020 indicate that Facebook is the leading pioneer in terms of social media. I'm not sure if this is going to alter radically, because I think a lot of people have opted out of Facebook recently for a number of reasons. Then it's YouTube, WhatsApp, and so on. And we can see from these platforms that there are significant amounts of people around the world using these platforms. And one of the key sources now really for people to find out information is not traditional media, it's social media. This has also had a dramatic impact on education and how we teach communications, because the way we teach communications today is radically different from how we taught it 20 years ago. So as a department, we began to embrace digital technology at the University of Nicosia some 15 years ago, particularly in the field of audio, radio, and video production courses, through the introduction of software and digital equipment, for example, digital cameras. This even resulted in renaming our bachelor's degree to Digital Communications and Mass Media. And we were the first university locally to do this, because we noted that the digital revolution and the impact it was having on media was significant enough to change the title of the degree. Nowadays, I would say that first-year bachelor students are completely different to bachelor students, equivalent bachelor students of 20 years ago. And this is largely due to young people nowadays, from a young age, are more media literate in terms of production skills. 10-year-olds can make websites, for example. They can edit videos, and they can make radio shows and sound content and music content. And if you ask a group of students 20 years ago in a very basic class, how many of you know how to edit video or audio, you would find maybe out of 15 students, one of them would say they would know how to do this. If you ask the same question today, the result would be completely different. Of the 15 students, normally nowadays, 13 will confess to you that they've had some degree of editing with video or audio before they came to university. So this means as people teaching in digital media, we always have to stay one step ahead of advances in technology. And at the University of Nicosia, we address this through innovative courses such as internet radio, digital cinematography, digital media and youth culture, and transmedia journalism, just to name a few. Generally speaking, our courses have to adapt all the time to the changes in technology, especially when you're teaching a course like social media management, which is a course that has to be updated every semester due to the changes in that form of technology. But I want to go back a little bit, because I've been talking about this revolution, and I think the philosophy is still the same, though, because communication is still communication, and no society can exist without communication. This is what distinguishes human beings in an organized society from other species. The thing that's always fascinated me about communications, and no matter what form of communication we're referring to, whether it's photography, film, journalism, radio, television, internet content, there's so many different things that we make, and we're making these things often from nothing, from an idea in our minds. And that's a really unique characteristic of the subject, I think. And it's a very difficult thing to teach in that sense. To teach creativity, to teach people to be creative, is not something that you can do it methodically. It takes a lot of imagination, a lot of brainstorming, and a lot of I would say a lot of trial and error. In other words, you could do the same work on the same subject for a very long time in terms of a creative project. Like, for instance, writing a song might seem very simple to many people, but in writing a song, as a composer, I might go through 20 different renditions of that song. In other words, effectively what I'm saying is you might try it 19 times, and those 19 times you might fail to achieve what you want to do. But on the 20th time, and these figures are just arbitrary, on the 20th time I'm going to reach my destination. So that capability of creating from nothing is something that really attracts people to communications, I think. And of course, communications has a central role in global affairs, particularly in the digital age. I would say people are more influenced now by user-generated content, even on Facebook and other platforms, than they are by traditional media. And through the ages, we can see that communications has radically changed from the days of cave paintings, which are the first forms of communications, to pictograms, holographic work in ancient hieroglyphics in ancient Egypt, and Chinese characters. In Greece, ancient Greece, people used carrier pigeons to go in particular directions. Then we have the first postal service. And all of these things over the ages, the technology has changed. The creation of paper, for example, in China, 104 AD, eventually leading some centuries afterwards to the daily newspaper in the Middle Ages, 1650. And slightly before that, you had people called town criers, who basically stood in village squares and would announce the news. And these sort of developments have changed a lot with electricity, and the first form of electricity and communication being Morse code, then the telephone. Then we have the first transatlantic radio signals, the first TV broadcast. And then this very strange thing happens. Although it was invented in the 60s, it didn't become a household phenomenon until much later. That is the World Wide Web. And the World Wide Web totally changed how we communicate. From blogging, social media platforms, internet radio, Twitter, YouTube. This revolution in the last 20 odd years has had a big impact on the ways in which we're communicating and engaging with media content. I just want to talk a little bit more about the degree now, in terms of the University of Nicosia Department of Communications offers a 4-year degree in digital communications and mass media. This is offered in English and Greek. It's a well-established program that's been running for over 30 years in different forms. And this is updated regularly with cutting-edge technology and facilities covering a wide range of media. It's the most comprehensive BA degree in universities locally and highly competitive regionally as well, because we embrace different kinds of media communication, journalism, radio and TV, and film and creative industries. And it's the first program in Cyprus to embrace the challenges that we're faced with digital technology. And we stay up to date with these changes. And it's also a program that is distinguished between its combination of theory and hands-on creative practice. We believe that this is important for students to understand what media means in terms of society, but to also understand how to create media content in a very hands-on way. The structure of the program is that there are major requirements which all students are required to take. These take up 78 ECTS credits, and then students have a choice of one of the three following concentrations, which are each 48 credits: journalism, radio, TV and digital broadcasting media, and film and creative media production. Additionally, students have other major and elective subjects in PR, languages, computing, maths, humanities and social sciences, which they choose the remainder of their credits from. So it's a degree with major required courses with a concentration of a student's choice and additional subjects. One of our unique characteristics is also Media Zone Studios, and this is a service that supports all the practical lessons in the Department of Communications. It employs students as lab assistants who provide technical support for students in the department, and Media Zone produces creative content, video, sound, web pages, multimedia designs, and also covers university events. I just want to show you a brief video clip about Media Zone. We also do a lot of activities through the faculty. There's a number of interviews, events, locations, which are facilitated through journalism concentrations. Greek Beat Radio, we have a collaboration in the internet radio class. Greek Beat is a radio station in London, UK. We have Cyprus Film Days. We have collaborations with the Institute of Mass Media, TEDx, University of Nicosia, and various other collaborations with various NGOs and local community organizations. These are examples of some of the work that the students and faculty do in the area of journalism, including a live interview with the President of the Republic of Cyprus, which was organized through Dr. George Pavlidis, who teaches many courses in this concentration. They took a number of students who all had a chance to interview the President of the Republic of Cyprus. Dr. Pavlidis also took a delegation of students to the European Parliament for a workshop on journalism and ethics. Our collaboration with Greek Beat Radio enables students from the University of Nicosia in Media Zone to broadcast on their platform in London, and then from Greek Beat Radio studios we broadcast on the internet around the world, and this is a collaboration we've been doing for the last couple of years. Cyprus Film Days is a very important part of the film concentration, which Dr. Kostas Konstantinidis has played a very important part in. I just wanted to share something with you about Cyprus Film Days, which I think is coming in a minute. Also, TEDx at the University of Nicosia. This is a very important event, and students participate in it on event management courses and on internships. I'm just going to show you a short video clip about this.
Hi everyone, Kimberly, a Media Zone student lab assistant here in sunny Cyprus, ready to help out at TEDx University of Nicosia. Some of you may know Cyprus from the 2013 financial crisis we had, but we've had a really fast-paced recovery since then because that's just how we are. Now we have multiple TED Talks around the island, and the best one just so happens to be organized by the University of Nicosia. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the rehearsals before the big day. We are going to be setting up our cameras, testing audio and light, and making sure everybody knows what to do and where they need to be. We should go follow the rest of the TEDx team to see how we're going to handle this crazy big, I'm talking sold-out event. We're also live streaming the whole thing in full HD. We're also live streaming the whole thing in full HD, so if anything goes wrong, when dealing events of this kind of scale, you know beforehand that there's bound to be some obstacles. I mean, sure, our Sony FS5 cameras can shoot in 4K, we have hundreds of people working on this together, but who can really predict what's going to happen? The first tip to dealing with a lengthy and stressful event or any major project is that you have to prepare, or at least as prepared as you can, because at the end of the day, you always need your time. So I'm going to go help set up because there's still so much to this day. We're all taking a break now. We've been running around for hours now, trying to fix the audio, trying to fix the light. It's chaos out there. Which brings us to our second tip today. Don't overdo it. Take a breather every now and then. A person can only take so much on before they break. I should really follow my own advice during the exam period, but that's for another vlog. Let's stay focused on TED. So even though we're all fed and well rested, it's normal after 6 hours of setting up to feel mentally drained. Which brings us to tip number 3, try and stay positive. Usually I'm pretty lucky because the Media Zone crew and we have really good chemistry. We can always rely on each other to lift each other's spirits, which is the definition of crew. So So this is like the last rehearsal of the night. It's almost 11 o'clock. And we've been here since 7 o'clock in the morning, so it's been a really long day. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to finish the real deal. I really hope this was worth it because part of me just wants to spend the rest of my night with finish watching TV. So it's like we've gotten to do the tutorial now, and it's game over.
And these are some of the student video productions that I want to share with you as well. These are videos that students make on courses in the in production-based courses. Whoops, something happened there. And we also have a lot of publications that come out in books and international journals through faculty in the department, and participation in international academic conferences. These are just a few examples from different colleagues in the department in the field of film, media literacy, public relations, media representation and austerity, photography, crisis and protest, and songs of social protest. So to conclude, communications is an inspiring and creative option of study at the University of Nicosia. Students develop a lot of practical production skills as well as critical thinking about media. And I'd just like to say finally that communications is as old as time itself, but communications is also the future. And I just wanted to share one last short video clip to explain that concept a little bit.
There are more video creators making more money on YouTube than ever before, and the top 10 made in excess of $180 million in 2018. If you want to know who and how much they made, stick around because this is the top 10 YouTube earners of 2018, according to Forbes magazine. Let's do this. Controversy likely curtailed Logan Paul's ability to increase his income in 2018, and he survives in the top 10 just. A little spoiler for you, his brother does make the list too, but you'll have to keep on watching to find out where. of recording, PewDiePie is still the most subscribed to YouTuber on the planet with over 75 million subscribers. He is double, triple, even quadruple the size of many of the channels in this list. So it's somewhat of a surprise that he earns so little, relatively speaking, of course. Everyone's favourite Irish gamer, Jacksepticeye, is the first of 2 new entries into the list, cracking several milestones this year, including 20 million subscribers, 10 billion views, and he's just a shade away from 4,000 videos published on YouTube. Vanos Gaming drops from 2nd to 7th in this list, but like every channel still in the top 10, he has increased his income. Perhaps the most surprising statistic is the relatively low number of videos published as a gaming channel, which still stands at under 1,000. On the other hand, MARKIPLIER is the publishing king in this list with over 4,000 videos. Merchandising represents a huge income opportunity for all of these channels, which is why MARKIPLIER and Jacksepticeye recently went into business together with their new clothing line, Cloak. Someone who is no stranger to business or notoriety outside of YouTube, however, is Jeffree Star. With a little help from Shane Dawson, Jeffree's presence on YouTube exploded in 2018. But at just 1 billion views and 11 million subscribers, he is by far the smallest channel in this list. Last year's highest earner has been dethroned, but Dan did still earn over $80 million in 2018. And have you noticed a pattern yet? All of the big gamers in this list have recently surpassed 20 million subscribers. If that's the case, don't be surprised to see Ninja on this list next year. By far and away, the most efficient channel on this list are the Dude Perfect team. They have published less than 200 videos, and yet they are one of the biggest YouTube channels in the US and have amassed an incredible $20 million in 2018. Here comes his brother. Jake Paul and his Team 10 empire nearly doubled its income in 2018. He has been the subject of claims that his content manipulates his young demographic through aggressive merchandising. So far, however, his bank balance seems to be thriving rather than shrinking. And at the very top of the list is 8-year-old Ryan and his toy reviews. In just 3.5 years, the channel has gained over 26 billion views, 17 million subscribers, and Ryan's products are now found in Walmart. With 2 new entrants on this year's list, that means we have to say goodbye to Shmosh and the only female on the list from 2017, Superwoman Lily Singh. To see last year's full list, do check out our video on screen now. Who do you think will make the list in 2019? Well, let us know in the comments below.
If you want to find out more information about the bachelor's degree in digital communications, you can find me at the email displayed on the screen, and also by calling the number also on the screen. And you can also contact Nikki Zahariado, admissions counselor in the Department of Admissions, through the contact details on the screen. Thank you very much, and if there's any questions, I'm here to answer them. if there's no questions, thanks a lot for staying in tune. And we hope to see you at the University of Nicosia's Bachelor's in Digital Communications. Bye-bye.